You're awful, you're cringe for slugging. Are you the one that DC'd? You have no friends? You slugged after you lost the first gens?
Hey, so you're probably wondering how I got here.
I'm gonna buy me as much time as possible.
It started off with an average-looking lobby. I load in with a killer request against some girly pops. I put on cool as a meme because of the Nez name.
Alright.
You'll notice they start all equipping flashlights and redding up before a killer could potentially dodge.
I don't want him to look at me, this makes me uncomfortable. Oh my god.
Unfortunately, this is during my Streamlabs era, so my audio gets very statusy. From this point forward, I will be narrating while turning down the volume on the game so your ears don't bleed. I was happy loading into Cold Wind because darker maps with Freddy's dream state make me nauseous. Sadly, I do get pretty bad corn blindness. I also can't track very well in dream state, so get ready for some bad girly pop killer moves. This is probably a bad time to mention that this is my second ever time playing Freddy, and my first time using dream snares. You can probably guess how this goes. I get my first hit rather quickly, which is a good thing as the killer. It gets the game moving early on. For some reason, this game, the survivors really love Cow Tree. It will eventually be part of their downfall. This tile is usually a pain to deal with, especially since I was not pushing Ada the correct way. This is where you can see I struggle with tracking. I lose Ada immediately and find now lurking for a save. You'll notice that these survivors are particularly greedy, which is never smart. The imaginary survivor rulebook says to preserve resources.
And it's on bright maps too. Like it's there.
I leave Chase because this gen has been worked on this entire time. Don't ask me what this was. I have no idea.
I can't track. I literally can't track right now.
I need to slug Ada here because I already know someone will be nearby for a save. Keep note of this throughout the game.
Why did I swing for that? I don't know. That was so instinctive.
Moonwalking hides your red stain so you can pop around corners unexpectedly. Sometimes, survivors will predict this, but then Nancy fell for it. I get a nice and easy first hook. I don't slug here because I know that someone is with the Ada. Two gens are gone now, but I'm not entirely worried based off the way they are playing. You will see this evolve.
Oh wait, I have Q now. Yeah, this is so hard to track in this dream state mode.
Moonwalking again gets me a free hit on the Sable. For some reason, she holds the ooh away from the connector.
I'm gonna try not.
Like a bot, she was beelining for Cow Tree, but misjudges the distance and gets me a free down. You'll notice now that instead of unhooking, the other survivors are waiting for a flashy save. The quality is pretty poor because I recorded this with a program I don't like. My future videos should be with better quality.
No, she gets that entire man.
I can safely pick now because I've scared off the others. Notice how Sable didn't crawl to Cow Tree pallet, greedy. Going back to Hook now because I am assuming that they're resetting there. Even though they're very altruistic, I need to work on building more pressure. For some reason, all three of them were here instead of working on a gen or stealthing for the unhook. You'll notice that this team isn't very coordinated and make a lot of mistakes.
I wasn't close enough to do that one.
Blinding at pallets is a stupid way to slow you down, but it's not hard to use your ears. They are just wasting time instead of reaching the next tile. Na is hiding in the snowman like a bot, thinking I wouldn't assume it's a survivor. I still don't feel safe to pick because I know someone is nearby. Even injured, these survivors will continuously refuse to leave the area, which promotes a lot of slugging. I get a lot of free downs at this window because every survivor refuses to throw shack pallet. You won't get cursed if you throw it, you know. For some reason we all know, then Nancy has decided to lurk instead of resetting the Ada. BTW, this is where the static starts to get really bad. So if you hear it in the background, I apologize. I hope to never have this issue again.
Someone else gets it, don't they?
A wonderful surprise that offers survivors in the area and double blind me.
Is crazy.
Nah, BMING here, but I still can't pick.
I feel so slay right now. I hear footsteps. Or is that my footsteps? I can't tell.
I was being silly and thought Freddy's footsteps were someone else's.
My footsteps.
You'll notice Nancy waking herself up as if that's going to ultimately advantage the team.
I'm gonna have to do that after.
Now I have to find the survivors, but it's not that hard with these types of teams.
Yeah, it's my footsteps that I'm hearing. That's crazy.
They unhook pretty much immediately, so I just decide to go back. I don't feel much pressure at this point. They're still healing under hook even though they know I've come back in the past. I decide to try and tunnel the Na here. Survivor rulebook is firmly against tunneling, but it's necessary when against these types of teams. You need someone out early enough so that the pressure is not constantly on you. Sable goes to an easier tile to handle, which is questionable why she was hanging out near a completed gen.
She's just run up this way.
She holds W for whatever reason.
Like,
Na is still hanging out at this tile for some reason. She should have taken the chance to run and find someone, but she decided to stealth for a potential save. Ada is trying to body block, but she's terrible at it, so I get an easy down. You shouldn't have to take a hit for your teammates because they're silly enough to still be altruistic even when injured. I can't pick because people are nearby, and she's not near a wall that I can face. I don't want to stray too far away from my slug. I do eventually want to hook her. Wondrously, the injured Sable is trying to save instead of sitting on a gen. The Nancy pops one, and I get my coup stacks, which is detrimental for Sable. Also, yes, it's okay to clap because they did a gen.
thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the killer request as well.
I pick Sable immediately. Sometimes doing so is disorienting and doesn't give the others enough reaction time. Besides, I already had the slugs.
You're just running over here.
Looping around a hooked survivor is never smart. It just gives the killer a free opportunity to camp and ensure a hook trade or something. Though I mess up my hit, but it's good in the fact that Sable now has to waste time mending. I just wish I hit the Nancy instead. Oddly enough, some other goober was here, probably now to protect Sable from getting downed. Though she doesn't provide much except moral support.
I get that top 100 will buy.
I still pursue the Sable because I need someone out of the game.
Enough points.
For the third or fourth time, she shifts it route towards Cow Tree like a bot. I down her instantly, and, naturally, the only other injured survivor is here to save the day thinking they're Superman.
They have UV though. I think they do.
I pick, wrongly assuming the others are on gens, but I get blinded by all three, because apparently they have nothing to do except cradle each other in the bushes while waiting for a save. we're at Shack again. At this point, one can assume they have an official marriage certificate to this place, even though they only use the window. Easy mind game.
Spam good request, starting mention, yeah.
Following the sounds of her footsteps because blinding does absolutely nothing. The other two are healing like idiots even though Nancy is looping Shack. But Nancy is also an idiot and decides she's got old FTP plus Boo with an injure buff and tries to pick up Sable. Hit her with the flashlight BMING. Strong moves. Well done. I choose to get a hit on now because I assume Sable might drop Shack pallet even though they seem to make out with it in their free time.
Come do my shift me? No, girl, I've been doing my shift. I've been there, done.
Would you still hang around as an injured survivor if your other two injured teammates were also hanging around?
I did my monies. I did my monies. Okay. Surely the Sable's just not going to be hanging around. The Nier is though.
For the 100th time, Na comes back to Cowtree and gets down immediately like a villainous genius.
But I have to be careful that none of these.
I keep these three slugged because I know at this point, it's not a stretch Sable is probably admiring the interior of a locker waiting for a save. After thoroughly scouting the area, I deem it safe to finally start hooking. Notice how I actually hook when I know I can? I don't slug for the sake of slugging.
I don't think so. Surely not.
Sable picks up now, but that's fine. These should be easy downs. I have already snowballed the game in my favor. Case in point, Na has the intelligent idea to pick up Nancy while injured. Oh, surprise, she doesn't make it. And oh, surprise, neither does Sable. Ada takes her chances. It's strange they don't have a UB, Expo, or Deli player. Altruism is a killer's fifth perk. Unsurprisingly, Ned DC's from the game, and you probably won't notice much difference in the bot's gameplay. It's amazing how someone can play so confidently in game, but then rage quit when they realize they've lost. If you seriously can't win against a Freddy as a 4-man save squad, that's just a skill issue. But desync because you're all slugged is wild. You can't expect to play an aggressive, unhookable playstyle and then throw a tantrum when the killer does exactly that, not hook.
Alright, let's give the bot hatch.
I decide to do a nice deed for the day and give the bot hatch.
Where is it?
I'm not judging anyone's playstyle, not by much anyway. But if you want to prevent hooks, don't act surprised when everyone gets slugged. Also, you're not going to get special treatment. No killer will see you hanging around as an injured person and decide to let you go. Expect an aggressive playstyle in response to your aggressive playstyle. It's not all Survivor mains, but it's the ones who refuse to tunnel when they play their pig main because it's not fair. You know what else is not fair? Not getting infinite stacks. Anyways, GG girlies, you played, splendidly.
They all hang around for... We're gonna go. Freddy. You're awful, you're cringe for slugging. Are you the one that DC'd? Babe. I'm a Freddy. I'm a Freddy. Who barely even used their power. I think that kind of speaks of your skill level than mine. I'm the bad one, and yet you got pretty much 4K'd by a Freddy at 2 gens. I'm the bad one, and you got 4 men slugged by a Freddy at 2 gens. You have no friends. You slugged after you lost the first gens. You're a Survivor main, aren't you? I literally play 50-50. I literally play 50-50 killer survival, right? It's so crazy. Oh, your best insult is you have no friends. Okay, you got 4 men slugged by Freddy. You're the awful one, my love. It's full background. Like, okay, not even, let's like not even think about the gen rushing, right? Let's not think about any of that. Let's think about the fact, okay, 4 background players, I'm pretty certain, right? And 4 flashlights, right? And everyone was hanging around. Oh, but you slug, so you're bad. P3 and above. I have a job actually, and it pays really well. They all had flashlights and background player. They would always 2-stack on a flashlight save. They were all hanging around. Why would I pick up when I know that I can hear them? Tell me you don't play killer without telling me you don't play killer, right? Oh, you did it because of the first 2 gens that you lost. I didn't care about the first 2 gens. I didn't care about the 3rd gen. Because the problem is you're an altruistic team. When I'm playing against an altruistic team, I know I've already won the game, right? Because altruism is a killer's fifth perk, okay? Because instead of worrying about doing gens, I wasn't worried about the gens because you weren't worried about doing the gens, right? I knew I had the 4K secured every time I saw that there was at least 2 people hanging around for every slug I had. Very odd.
What do you think? Overly altruistic solo queue teammates are extremely badass at WWF.